In China, a gigantic bridge collapsed. In Iran, a historic drought was recorded. Brazil was struck by devastating tornadoes. 2 deadly typhoons raged in the Philippines. And this is only part of the disasters that shook the entire world over the past week. But there is one truly remarkable piece of news. It brings hope for an escape from this climate nightmare. USA. A winter storm also reached the USA, accompanied by Arctic cold and heavy snowfall. In the Great Lakes area and the Midwest, on November 9th to 10th, up to 30 centimeters of snow fell near Chicago. Highways became buried, paralyzing traffic. Powerful snowfalls struck the states of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. The collision of cold air from Canada with warm currents over the lakes caused intense blizzards. The cold wave rapidly engulfed the southern regions of the USA, and by the morning of November 11th, more than 190 million Americans felt its impact. Air temperatures in the states of Florida, Alabama, and Georgia dropped 10 to 14 degrees below normal, in some places reaching -3 degrees Celsius. In Jacksonville and Savannah, -2 degrees was recorded, the coldest November morning in almost 50 years. Even in usually warm Miami, the temperature fell to +9 degrees. Local residents watched in astonishment as iguanas, frozen stiff from the cold, fell from the trees. Canada. On November 9th, the southeastern regions of Canada experienced the impact of a rare early snowstorm. Up to 35 centimeters of snow fell in some areas overnight in the province of Quebec. The Montérégie region and the city of Montreal were particularly hard hit, where falling branches brought down power lines, leaving around 400,000 customers without electricity. Because of icy roads, serious accidents occurred. Utility crews were clearing about 10,000 kilometers of streets and sidewalks. In southern Ontario, in the country's largest city, Toronto, almost 10 centimeters of snow were recorded, and in Hamilton, up to 16. This is the earliest snowfall of such magnitude in the past 50 years, since usually the first snow of this volume appears here only in December. Ontario police reported that several hundred accidents occurred on the province's roads in just 24 hours. Brazil. On November 7th, several states of Brazil were hit by storm winds with downpours, hail, and even tornadoes. The most severe situation unfolded in the state of Paraná, where a powerful tornado destroyed 90% of the territory of the municipality of Rio Bonito do Iguaçu. Entire neighborhoods turned into ruins in just a few minutes, and cars were tossed around like toys. The city looked like a war zone. Rescuers spent hours clearing the rubble in search of survivors. Unfortunately, casualties could not be avoided. 6 people died. 750 people were injured, and 30 of them were reported to be in serious condition. The injured were taken to hospitals in neighboring cities. A field hospital was deployed to provide medical assistance to local residents. At least 1,000 people were left without housing. Temporary shelters for evacuees were opened in nearby settlements. Although the municipality was almost completely destroyed, residents did not give up. Some supported their neighbors, others were simply grateful to have survived. Aid soon began arriving from neighboring cities, and volunteers, together with local residents, began clearing the debris. "The wind took everything except the will to live," said one of the survivors. The destructive tornado that struck the city of Rio Bonito do Iguaçu turned out to be one of the most powerful on the planet this year and became the most tragic in Brazil's modern history. Based on an analysis of the scale of destruction, specialists classified it as an EF4 tornado with wind speeds from 250 to 300 kilometers per hour. According to field analysis and radar images, 3 more tornadoes formed in the neighboring state of Santa Catarina, causing significant damage to 3 municipalities. The storm brought intense rainfall to the central and northern regions of the state of Rio Grande do Sul. In some places, up to 150 millimeters of precipitation fell within a single day, exceeding monthly norms. In Porto Alegre, the state capital, wind gusts reached 107 kilometers per hour and knocked down trees. In the municipality of Rolante, a young man died after being struck by one of the falling trees. About 800,000 residents were left without electricity. In the Serra Gaúcha region, numerous landslides complicated road traffic and damaged property. In the municipality of Caxias do Sul, a landslide damaged a residential building and 4 cars. Fortunately, no one was hurt. In the state of Paraná, the destruction was so severe that a state of emergency was declared in at least 14 cities. Iran. Iran is gripped by an unprecedented water crisis, one of the most severe in the country's history. The reservoirs supplying Tehran, a megacity of 10 million people, are filled to less than 10%, and key water bodies, including Karaj, have almost completely dried up. One can walk across their exposed beds. From October to November, the country received 81% less precipitation than normal, only 2.3 millimeters. The crisis has sharply intensified in recent weeks, although Iran has been struggling with drought for the 6th consecutive year. The Ministry of Energy warned that if no rainfall occurs in the coming weeks, water rationing will have to be introduced and nighttime shutoffs may be implemented nationwide. The president of the country even announced that a partial evacuation of the capital is possible. According to the Iranian Meteorological Organization, the drought is primarily linked to the strengthening of subtropical high pressure, an atmospheric system typical for summer, which this year persisted into late autumn and blocked rain-bearing fronts. Similar patterns are being observed in Iraq, Syria, and Turkey. New Zealand. On November 8th, a major forest fire broke out in Tongariro National Park. This is a popular place for hiking routes, and the park's landscapes were used in the filming of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The initial area of the fire was about 50 hectares, but the spread of the flames was extremely fast. Witnesses reported that the fire rose up to 30 meters high and stretched for almost 4 kilometers, destroying subalpine vegetation. Dozens of tourists were urgently evacuated by helicopters. According to them, shortly before the rescuers arrived, the air was thick with smoke and ash was falling from above. The hiking trails, including the well-known Tongariro Alpine Crossing, were completely closed. Some of the roads leading to the park were also blocked. To fight the fire, aviation, airplanes, and helicopters was deployed in addition to ground crews. At night, firefighting had to be halted due to the dangerous mountainous terrain and risks for the firefighters. Only 2 days later, when heavy rains began, the fire was brought under control. The disaster destroyed about 2,800 hectares of the national park. According to ecologists, it will take years for these territories to recover. The local alpine ecosystems are especially sensitive to fire. China. In Sichuan province, the Hongqi Bridge, newly built and put into operation in January 2025 and known as the Bridge in the Clouds, partially collapsed on November 11th. A day earlier, on November 10th, inspectors detected cracks approximately 10 centimeters wide in the bridge structure and the adjacent slope, posing a safety threat, after which traffic was temporarily halted. The following day, the slope deformation increased, a section of the span collapsed, and concrete blocks fell into the gorge, raising a column of dust. According to preliminary information, there were no casualties. Vehicles are using detour routes. A week earlier, in Yunnan province, prolonged rainfall caused major slope failures and roadbed subsidence on a section of the Nanjing Expressway, which had been in operation for only 3 years. Restrictions on traffic and detour routes were introduced on the affected sections on November 5th. Authorities report no casualties, and infrastructure restoration is ongoing. The topic of possible construction violations is being actively discussed on social media, but final conclusions will be made following an expert investigation. However, it is clear that natural disasters are not only intensifying, but also changing in character. And even the use of modern technologies, along with full compliance with standards, can no longer guarantee the safety and resilience of structures. Japan. In Japan last week, a sharp increase in seismic activity was recorded in the Tohoku region. On November 9th, the main underground shock with a magnitude of 6.9 occurred off the Sanriku coast in the prefectures of Iwate and Miyagi. Seismic tremors of up to 4 intensity levels were felt. The event triggered a tsunami threat. Waves up to 20 centimeters high were recorded in the ports of Kuji, Ofunato, and Kamaishi. Less than an hour later, a second powerful shock with a magnitude of 6.6 followed. Activity continued on November 10th. In the second half of the day, another shock with a magnitude of 6.4 was recorded, felt across 5 Tohoku prefectures. In a little over 24 hours, 37 earthquakes with a magnitude of 3.5 and above were recorded in the Sanriku area, 15 of which reached a magnitude of 5 and higher. Typhoon Kalmayegi. Filipinos had not yet recovered from the powerful magnitude 6.9 earthquake and the series of typhoons when the country once again found itself under the force of nature. Typhoon Kalmayegi struck the province of Cebu on November 4th, bringing torrential rains, landslides, and devastating floods. In the city of Toledo, 428 millimeters of rainfall fell within 24 hours, more than 3 times the monthly average. Most of the region's hydraulic structures can withstand up to 5 meters of water, and the strongest up to 10. But the typhoon brought 12 meters, exceeding the design limits of the structures. As a result, water rushed down from the mountains into residential areas, where its level rose above 3 meters in some places. Entire neighborhoods were flooded, and some poor areas with fragile houses were completely washed away by powerful currents. Local residents said they had experienced typhoons before, but Kalmayegi was different, far too strong. After the water receded, the true scale of destruction became visible. Residents were clearing thick layers of silt and debris, trying to salvage anything that could help with recovery. Even a week after the disaster, many areas of Cebu still lacked water supply due to damaged main pipelines and artesian sources, and repair work progressed slowly because many communication lines had collapsed. Although Kalmegi was not the strongest in terms of wind speed, the combination of its slow movement and enormous rainfall made it deadly. Most of the victims, according to authorities, drowned. 232 people died in the Philippines, 112 were reported missing, and another 532 were injured. Kalmegi moved toward Vietnam, which was still recovering from the devastating floods of the previous week. On November 6th, the disaster struck the provinces of Dak Lak and Gia Lai with winds of up to 183 kilometers per hour. In some places, more than 350 millimeters of rain fell within 6 hours. The wind toppled trees, destroyed homes, and millions of people were left without electricity. Nearly 30,000 houses were affected, of which 320 were completely destroyed. In Gia Lai province, more than 300,000 people were evacuated in advance, carrying out the largest operation in the region's history. Authorities believe that thanks to these preventive measures, mass casualties were avoided. However, the disaster still claimed 5 lives, and 3 more people remain missing. Typhoon Fung Wong. On November 9th, the Philippines once again suffered from severe weather. Super Typhoon Fung Wong struck the province of Aurora on the island of Luzon. Wind speeds reached 185 kilometers per hour, and gusts exceeded 230 kilometers per hour. Entire provinces were left without electricity. From 12 regions, more than 1,400,000 people were evacuated in advance. The damage was extensive. The agricultural sector alone suffered losses of approximately $2.4 million. The greatest losses were in rice crops. More than 130 villages were flooded, and people caught by the rapid rise of river levels were forced to seek refuge on the roofs of their homes. Around 900 public schools were damaged. Disruption of transportation led to the cancellation of more than 300 domestic and over 60 international flights. In addition, thousands of passengers were stranded in ports as ship traffic was suspended. Unfortunately, as a result of flooding and landslides, 25 people died.
Oh my God!
It is clear that increasingly severe natural disasters require deep, interdisciplinary study. The modern world needs not just observational science, but fundamental and applied research that can effectively mitigate the consequences and address the underlying causes of natural hazards. An important recent development is the launch of the ALLATRA Global Research Center. According to its organizers, this is not a formal structure created for reporting purposes, but an international scientific platform where researchers from different countries work together with the declared goal of protecting lives and the future of the planet. The initiative positions itself as independent of sponsors and politics, focusing solely on science and voluntary collaboration. Such an approach is intended to enable an objective analysis of actual climate processes. A key feature of the center, as stated, is full transparency. All research results are made publicly accessible. This allows anyone, whether a scientist or simply a concerned individual, to review the data directly. In this context, the information cannot be concealed behind reassuring phrases such as, "The situation is under control." The establishment of the ALLATRA Global Research Center is presented as a step towards science aimed at human welfare and as an opportunity to search for real solutions to the climate crisis.